Alright, tonight we are diving into a story that is seriously unsettling. And look, this isn't about some ancient tentacled god from beyond the stars. Nope. This is a horror that is chillingly human, born from the brilliant but oh so arrogant mind of one man. This is the story of Herbert West, Reanimator.
So let's just start with the one question that drives this entire insane narrative. What if death, the end, wasn't the end at all? What if it was just another problem for science to solve? This is the obsession that absolutely consumes our main character and kicks off this whole horrific tale.
And this right here, this is the core belief of Herbert West. You see, for him, death isn't some mystical journey for the soul. Nah, it's just a mechanical failure, a biological process that he believes can be, well, reversed. And this one single radical idea is the seed for every terrible thing that's about to happen.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're at a medical school, and we meet a young man whose ambition isn't just to, heal the living, but to literally command the dead. This is our guy, Herbert West. He is brilliant, no doubt, but he's also incredibly arrogant and just completely fixated on this one goal. He's cooked up this special chemical solution, this reagent, that he's sure can just jumpstart a body after it's died. His goal is nothing less than to conquer death itself. But see, West can't do this all by himself. He needs a helper, and he finds one in our narrator, another med student. And even though the narrator is horrified at first, he gets slowly and pretty faithfully sucked into West's dark world, a quest for knowledge that just blows right past any moral boundary you can think of. So after some, let's just say, grotesque experiments on animals, West decides it's time. Time to move on to people. And this is where the creepy theory becomes a truly monstrous reality. They get their hands on the fresh body of a dead laborer. West injects his glowing reagent, and they wait. And then the body twitches, and it screams. But this isn't the sound of a person coming back to life. It's something else, something primal, and just absolutely terrifying.
So let's be crystal clear about what happened here. This was not a resurrection. It was just a grotesque reanimation of flesh. The body was moving, yeah, but the person, the soul, the mind was gone. All that was left was this mindless berserk frenzy that had to be violently put down. West's first success was actually his first monstrous failure.
So you think this horrifying result would stop him, right? Of course not. To Herbert West, this was a win. The reagent worked, and with that terrible proof, he and the narrator started their grim little journey into grave robbing and total depravity. And they get stuck in this dark, repetitive cycle. You can see it laid out right here. They get a fresh body, inject the glowing goo, wait for success, and then they have to beat down the mindless monster they've just created before they hide all the evidence. It's like a grim scientific method for making nightmares. And this process, well, it created a whole gallery of horrors, a trail of abominations that just proved how little West actually understood about life. It all started, of course, with that first poor laborer, the one who came back as nothing more than a shrieking, violent monster. Then you had the boxer. He was reanimated with all of his strength but zero mind. He just became this rampaging beast that, again, had to be violently subdued.
And maybe the most disturbing of all, they revived their own medical dean. He came back with this horrifying, insatiable hunger for human flesh. Every single experiment was just a new flavor of disaster, proving that a body without a mind is just a cage for a monster.
At this point, West's moral compass is just gone. I mean, take one of his most infamous experiments. He reanimates just the head of a drowned man. All the head can do is scream, and West calls it a success. It was a pivotal moment for sure, and it just shows you the sheer horror of what he called science, treating life like it's just some clockwork to be wound up, no matter how broken it is.
So years go by, and the world gets plunged into World War I. Now, for a guy who needs a constant supply of fresh corpses, well, the battlefield is pretty much the ultimate laboratory, isn't it?
During the war, West is serving as a surgeon next to a Major Eric Clapham Lee, a guy whose intellect West actually respects. So when Clapham Lee is killed, West sees it as the perfect opportunity, a brilliant mind in a fresh body. But the result is tragically the same. The brilliant surgeon is gone, replaced by a howling, mindless brute.
So now,
Years after the war, West and the narrator are living in isolation, trying to lay low. But the past, it has a long and very gruesome memory. The consequences of everything West has done are about to come knocking. One night, something just feels off. It's like some unseen force, some dark magnetism, starts pulling all of West's old failures together. Every monster he ever created and tried to bury, well, they're stirring, and they're coming for him.
And what an army it is. A literal horde of his greatest failures. You've got the boxer, the cannibal dean, that first shrieking laborer, all of them. And they're being led by the headless body of Major Clapham Lee. They are all zeroing in on his isolated house with one single, terrifying purpose. So what's the trigger? What kicks off this final attack? A package arrives. Inside is a reanimated head, another past victim. And this head, which can barely speak, utters one single, chilling demand that calls the whole horde together. West.
That's the signal. The horde just bursts in, led by the headless Major Clapham Lee. And the narrator, he's just paralyzed with terror. He can only watch as West's own abominations deliver their final, brutal judgment, literally tearing their creator limb from limb.
So, after all that chaos and gore, what's the takeaway? Well, it's a powerful and very bloody warning about the dangers of unchecked ambition. It's about what happens when you try to play God without any real understanding of what you're creating.
This right here, this really nails West's central failure. His goal was resurrection, to bring back the soul, the person. But the reality, it was just reanimation, just restarting the flesh. He could make a body walk and scream, but he could never, ever bring the person back. He only created empty, monstrous shells.
And so we're left with this question. Look, Herbert West's story is fiction, of course, but its central theme is more relevant now than ever. In our own age of incredible scientific leaps, this story forces us to ask, just because we can do something, does that mean we should? Where do we draw the line?